rescheduled later in the night. They got swept. They had a bye last week. So let's see if they're able to come back and really gain some ground here in the standings.
That's a really good question. After not being able to show on like the games or like to have them on us, so they're coming back. CCAI versus White Lotus. Yeah, sorry, like White Lotus are the one who just like came back, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Just like okay, guys. I just woke up, so it might seems a little bit, I'm just trying to focus here, but at the same thing, mentioning the other leagues, like man, like I really hate what happened to Los Fortones. Like from my perspective, I will just like share this. Okay, it feels like someone sold his game. Just saying, just saying.
Yeah,
Did you feel the same, Jay?
someone they
Someone.
can usually rely on may have made an enormous miscalculation, but that's why, you never want to leave your fate in the hands of other teams. You win the
True.
games you play, you get in. The teams that make it don't have to worry about that stuff, and that's why I think games like this interesting, because we got here White Lotus, they lose their first week, and it's a single round robin. They've got to start winning games if they want to get towards the playoffs, if they want good seeding, want a chance to win this Scorch League. Ember only scaling upwards this year, so you want to start solidifying yourself as a top dog now, so that when these leagues come back, or if you want to promote up to maybe higher Ember leagues, you want to get your name recognized right now, so that you get those top spots, and you don't have to come back as a stream team. You can stay on the real
Sure.
rosters.
Exactly, and I believe a lot of players they want to have their chance, and they want to prove that they can compete, they can do something in the league. And currently, we are heading to that draft. CCI on the blue team and White Lotus on red, and I'm seeing a lot of target bans. First of all, Rixai, I don't think that we normally see Rixai getting banned. On the other hand, Twisted Fate and it feels weird to have Twisted Fate banned on my end.
Yeah, certainly a lot of targets. CCI roots select the Pantheon first pick. Makes sense. Their best player in almost every metric is their jungler.
Mm-hmm.
Spartan, you're going to look at their name and say, that doesn't say Spartan. I translated it. It's Greek. A Greek Spartan makes sense. Playing Pantheon makes sense. But the immediate insta-lock of Sejuani Nautilus, they want to heavily prioritize CC, which makes me think that a dive comp is what we are in store for from the red side.
And I love that they have, when it comes to Sejuani and Nautilus, they're pretty good when it comes to catching and playing on a catch composition. I believe that they need something with high DBS in mid and AD carry to carry on the game for them. On the other side, Silver, maybe you can go for Brom. Brom is banned, so Alistar is going to be it.
Yet you want some disengage right away when you see the Sejuani Nautilus. So the immediate options you think of, the Poppies, the Alistars, Braum, if it were up, would be very, very valuable. So that's a good ban. They took into account not only the heavily played stuff, but also just what would fight their comp best. I like the Sivir because Zokiaz, AD carry for CCI, is probably their second best player, one of the better players in the entire league. So if you're going to have a scaling option on your team, you want it to be someone who can reliably scale up. You don't have to worry about whether or not they're going to be a factor in the game, period. And here on the other side, I do expect an AD carry in response. Kaisa is up and available. I'm not sure if they play it, but Jinx also loves getting kills, getting excited, and running forward.
Sketchy pick, but like I like it. It's more of when you're playing Jinx, you're looking for resets and team fights. If you got one, it's over. And I believe Nat and Sejuani can give you enough CC to deny the enemy from walking, or just trying to make them stay still. Jinx get the first reset, and the whole team fight is over. But when you're playing versus Ben, Sion, and Sever, I don't think it's gonna be that easy, since Sever can just self-heal herself. Pantheon can dive to the back line. Nautilus and Sejuani, they have only one target, and I believe that's walking forward. So not sure if Jinx can survive this or what's their go-to here. They can just play Rise. It's a really good option, or Syndra. I like Syndra here somehow.
Yeah, mid lane got heavily focused, 4 bans across the board. I actually expect White Lotus to hold that mid for last pick because you
Mm.
invest all these if you invest all these bans, it's either because you want to free blind and you want to get rid of the stuff that you don't want to play into, or because you want to ensure a good counter. They blind the LeBlanc. A lot is still available that deals with LeBlanc well. Lissandra, Vex, those are more niche picks. Malzahar, something I have not seen in a very long time, but would do a great job at dissuading all of the dive on the side of White Lotus. Only issue it would bring is a lack of damage, but I think that with top pick being their last, I would have earlier suggested maybe something like an Ornn or a Scion if they had gotten the Syndras you predicted or wanted, but now I feel like they got to get some damage out of the top side.
White Lotus, they're pretty heavily investing in catching composition. You have LeBlanc for the burst damage. You have Jinx to just trying to go for the resets. On the other hand, yes, as you expected, Ornn is quite frankly good here for CCI. On the other hand, so the counter, you have Klid. Oh, you have eight tracks. No, actually, Sion is still a pretty good choice here. Like
So
just, it
yeah,
seems like a really good Sion game.
yeah, it would give them a lot of frontline, increase their ability to catch, dive, face check, or they could just triple down on dive and kill threat.
Oof.
Get the Gwen, great matchup into Ornn specifically, and actually does quite well in team fights against Malzahar and Alistar, even Pantheon, because all of their CC is targeted, and you have to get up close with Gwen to actually target her. So Malzahar will not be able to get the Nether Grasp. You can't stun as Pantheon or headbutt as Alistar if Gwen is in the Shroud. You have to get up close, and that time spent repositioning might be time you are not allowed when you have a Jinx and a LeBlanc also pouring down damage. Another thing to mention with the Gwen pick is it synergizes extremely well with Sejuani.
Yeah, it synergizes extremely well with the Sejuani, and you can count on her if you're playing 4-1. She can be the side laner. I don't think that Ornn, after Gwen get 2 items, he will be able to stand on the side lane if she got Rift Maker and I don't know, some attack speed item, the one for the AP. I can't recall its name right now, but like if she just got 2 items, Ornn is just like thin as paper versus her. That's when it comes to the side lane. On the other hand, like they have pretty good engage. Sejuani, Nautilus, damage dealing from the rest will be Genix LeBlanc, and I can see that they are considering Gwen since LeBlanc fall off a little bit when it comes to late game, so that's another source of AB damage. LeBlanc needs to play. It feels like Shaco, like LeBlanc and Shaco, both of them, they have a pretty unique play style. They rely on playing some mental games, and that's why they had to get a real AP damage.
Yeah, LeBlanc has to find angles, wants to sneak behind, get
Hmm.
flanks off. Gwen also plays somewhat similar in terms of finding angles, wanting to be able to dive through the back line, deal damage immediately. Only major concern I have for the White Lotus comp is their coordination. Like Sejuani Nautilus is a great engage dive pair, but all of their damage is pretty squishy. And if LeBlanc or Gwen don't get ahead and get pushed out of a fight, they are going to really need to hold for a long time for Jinx and the rest to get in position to deal the damage. So I want to see their coordination, their comms be on point for crowd control in-house. like I mentioned earlier, there's just kind of a lack of damage across the board. The Sivir has to scale. The Pantheon has to make use of the ultimate early and often, get ganks off to try and get these solo laners ahead and get them some space and time and money so that they can actually try to win some of these objective fights and get themselves an advantage.
For CCI, you have Pantheon, which a which is a pretty aggressive early game jungler. You can count on him early on, and I don't think that Pantheon falls off like he used to do before. He's just like in a balanced mood when it comes to Pantheon. Sivir, on the other hand, she needs to scale, so bot lane is not gonna be his best place to be in, at least at the first 3 minutes. Or actually, no, he needs to play on bot lane. Like definitely you're not playing on Ornn. Malzahar, maybe you can visit him once or twice across the entire game, but you have to be playing as a shadow player for bot lane. Sivir will need you, and if you look at early levels, the 3v3, I believe that CCI have a better hand when it comes to this. Since you have Alistair, Kit, Pantheon, and Sivir damage will deal extraordinary damage on Sivir. If I'm sorry, on Jinx, if you just try to catch on her, just point click CC from Pantheon, Alistair will follow up, and Sivir will just clean it up.
Yeah. If it does get to a consistent 5-on-5 fighting scenario, I think CCI have a ton of tools to delay out the fight to allow their CC to come in and force White Lotus to be super patient, wait as long as possible. And the comp they've drafted does not really want to wait. It wants to find a target, eliminate them immediately, and then just take whatever they can on the map. If CCI Roots can show up on time to an objective, have vision control, land the massive Ornn horns, headbutt and pulverize everyone
broken dreamer is your mind. All the scars, let's leave them behind. We light the world up now, let us fire in your eyes. Through the darkness into the night. Oh, broken dreamer is your mind. All the scars, let's leave them behind. We light the world up now, let us fire in your eyes. Through the darkness into the night.
And we're back with game number 1, CCI versus White Lotus on the first map here. It's been a long, guys. It's been forever, but we are back with game number 1, White Lotus on the red side and CCI on blue side.
We did end up getting a lot of the draft picks that I pointed out, but I also pointed them out with the caveat of like, hey, you could do this, but it's going to cost you a lot of damage on your team. But it seems that CCI are very committed to this defensive play style. Malzahar picking up the exhaust against LeBlanc. That may be a little bit of overkill. We'll have to wait and see, as CCI aren't going to know that they are on a ward when they walk through, but Pantheon has been spotted out, and they do not have any vision of Sejuani's opening, so that is an early advantage for White Lotus.
And I think that Blake is making a really correct choice. Like, since LeBlanc is one of the champions that just goes for a plus damage, he will blink and your HP powers are just going down. So exhaust, it seems a little excessive, but like still something you can yeah, you can use it, or like it will help you a lot here in bot lane. It looks a bit crazy, like you're playing Alistar versus Nautilus. It's just like another block lane. But I felt like level 1 should go to Nautilus if he just tried to conquer push number 2 or 3. It will be easier. Alistar goes in and immediately Jinx flashes. That feels like, yeah, you don't have to flash.
That was a very quick usage on the level 2 advantage that was gained by
That's
CCI.
hard. I love it. Love the aggression. They're just trying to commit, trying to do everything that they can. Both sums out from the support. On the other hand, Alistar just wasted his flash here. You can see the advantage in mid lane when it comes to HP. And Blake might just go for it. Clone actually spots the Pantheon. So yeah, no invades are going to happen here.
Yeah, not only does it spot him, he's got nothing to do. Sejuani is already fast clearing up to the top. Also made the decision not to buy a pot, saved yourself 50 gold, and if you're a fast clearing jungler like Sejuani, who doesn't really run into clear issues until they start taking ganks later, you can afford to save that gold, try and get your Bombi's Cinder as soon as possible, get those Giants belts stacking, and already about to finish Krugs. It's going to be a contested crab, though, and Danny has the teleport to get back to lane quicker. Other thing about Plaque bringing the exhaust into mid lane, it means that Alistar can bring heal, so they can have double defensive summoners in the bottom lane to try and withstand until Sivir comes online. But then later in the game, that exhaust doesn't have to be used on LeBlanc, can be put on the Jinx as well if they get excited, if they start trying to move forward. Gwen also, so a lot of very good applicants in this game.
Also, like, I have a lot of questions when it comes to Sejuani versus Pantheon. It felt like Pantheon need to play on bot side, not on top, but here in bot lane, Alistar just going in, no flash from Jinx, barrier wasted, and it's pretty tough. Like, you just put yourself on a pretty dangerous spot. Another gang in top side, flashing in from Owen, goes for the auto attack, jump, Pantheon first blood on top side.
Now they commit everything for that top lane kill. Bottom lane was trying to get a dive going as well, but they aren't able to pull it off. Good job getting Monarch off the tower, playing extremely aggressive. But on the top side, that's how you gotta play if you're gonna commit to some of these early ganks. You just get flash for flash trade in the top lane. That's fine, but it's Gwen. She's gonna be able
The
to
bingo,
dash away.
Sejuani.
Yeah, I
Look,
mean, you're
look at
gonna
the
be able to
minimap. They
dash
can
away.
see here.
Oh my god, they're gonna come alive. She's so dead.
That's a sandwich move. He got Alistair, you got Sivir, and you got Pantheon. Oh, nope, you're not leaving here. Flashes out. A lot of flashes been wasted. But actually, Sejuani, I have a lot of questions. Like, he didn't even have camps up since you saw everything. You have a control ward deep there, and yeah, you both are clearing from bot to top.
Yeah, you knew that that's where Pantheon started. So you could just go off your own jungle timers to figure out when it is they're going to be back up and available.
Exactly.
But instead, they just kind of decide to mosey in, see what they can get, burn their own flash. Now, as I say, it's Sejuani. This is a champ that sometimes takes summoners other than flash because you have that Arctic Assault up so often. That's a great trade for Plaque. You might have the level 6 advantage, LeBlanc, but that doesn't really matter. As now Spartan taking advantage of that ill-advised gank by Sejuani. But now look who's in the middle.
Oh, they're going top. 1, 2, 3. Gwen got no flash and got nothing actually to survive here. Trying to move forward. Horn jumps in and... Oh, what happened, Malzahar? Just stepped in after using his ultimate, so he just cancelled it. Pretty weird interaction, not from the ultimate, from Malzahar. And the second kill goes to Pantheon. That's a really good thing to do, investing in your jungle.
Absolutely, especially when you pick this Pantheon B1. You want it to get far ahead. Great double pulverize coming through by 420 Weed Deala. Great name as well. As, going back to that mid lane push, Malzahar gets the force out onto LeBlanc, makes him go back to base, and they don't have teleport up and available yet, so they do get pushed under tower, but the main goal is the fact that Plaque is now full prio on the map, allows them to move up top lane to cut off the Gwen's escape route. Everything going CCI's way, and so far, that's what we talked about during the draft. They have to get ahead. They have to get ahead early. Otherwise, this damage will not fully come online, and they're already starting to funnel plates into this Sivir.
They're funneling plates in Sivir, and they're having a lot of gold invested in their jungler. I can see that LeBlanc tried to make some sketchy moves, but here's the problem. He didn't push your waves. Glacial Burden is ready from Sejuani, but I don't think that's the go time you're waiting for, since you don't have a lot of damage coming from Jinx. Plaque going for the 1v1 in mid lane, and I believe that LeBlanc going to try to kill you, but Plaque just flashes out. Auto attack from the turret will be enough to get an extra kill in a 1v1. Just when you think that's going towards your side, you're trying to get a comeback. CCI turns everything around.
Yeah, CCI's mid laner with a high DPI play has to flick his mouse backwards to flash away, then flick it back towards LeBlanc to apply the Malfic visions, and also hit the exhaust. A lot of button presses happening in the flash of an eye and a split second there, but it results in the 1v1 kill on LeBlanc. That's why you pick this counter. That's why I was so confused in the draft when they ban out all those mid lane picks, and it's like, sure, now you can blind a mid laner, but you're not gonna ban out every single counter. There's always going to be stuff still up and available, and I even mentioned stuff like Lissandra, Vex, other major counters that were still available. Malzahar was what was comfortable for Plaque, and that's what they picked, and now you're seeing what that results in when you don't have that advantage mid lane that you wanted with those bans, with the draft up LeBlanc. Now bot lane's getting ahead. Plaque already has the solo kill, going for another.
Yeah, I believe his ultimate is pretty good right now. LeBlanc is pretty low in HP, just jumps out. He doesn't want to get his ease on, and he doesn't want to get things sorted out. Sejuani is moving around here in mid lane. She got the passive back on. Pantheon is moving. We can see the 2v2 in mid lane. LeBlanc just jumps in. The damage is not that easy. The shield makes him survive for a longer time. Glacial Prison invested, and it won't be enough for him to just stop the Emperor. the guy who just jumps through the entire moons. Mr. Pantheon got a kill, and I believe he's going for the invades Alistairs. Here the flash goes for the dredge line. Damage bundle. The heal makes him survive, but not for a long time. The rest is here. Nat might get out. The pushback is pretty good. Ornn is jumping in. A lot of fights, a lot of players, and it's all for nothing. And yeah, doesn't look pretty good for White Lotus. Surviving for a long time. LeBlanc makes it even, gets the second one. Sejuani is still alive after all what happened. And Ornn probably will drop down. Sejuani got the Q in a couple of seconds, and they're hunting everybody down.
Heard it so well. They fight for so long, like you said. Sejuani back alive, smacks down Ornn. It started with Sejuani dying. It ends with Sejuani getting the third kill. 2 for 3 in the end. Zoyak able to spell shield away that hook attempt. And now we kind of return to a state of normalcy. 400 gold lead for CCI after all of that chaos. But still, even though Pantheon went down 4-1-0, finished the Sundered Sky, Malzahar able to finish the Blackfire Torch. UG pretty far ahead now, but probably just going to put Monarch in the most harm's way.
It feels like if Sivir had just a couple of steps in, they would have killed him. LeBlanc is actually moving towards bot, and he can see it's about to go down again and again and again. But here is the problem. You can see Jinx is pretty low in HP. They spot LeBlanc, so she will immediately go back to mid lane. Keep in mind, if you check the minimap, you will see that her wave is stuck under her turret, but maybe since she got a cannon wave, it's a lot easier for her to survive. Black trying to sidestep, goes right to left, and the Glacial Prison goes wild. Black is just going for the fight, uses Pantheon's ultimate. Skyrocket is here, and this jungler is out. Look at this ultimate, it's just perfect. They're stopping everything. Another thing happening in the bot lane, pushing out this Nautilus and trying to get the kill. ISM Zokia, I'm sorry, gets another one for CCI.
Incredible outplays in mid lane and bottom lane. I said for White Lotus, the key was going to be communication. All the great comms seem to be coming from the in-house specialist over at Crowd Control. Malzahar taking that 2v1, just stalling so that Pantheon could use that Grand Starfall, come in, and LeBlanc tried to get the execute damage through, but with Nethergrasp still up and available, they're able to take down both of them in the 2v1. And then bot lane, a really risky, risky dive by Sivir and Alistar, because Monarch was always out of there. UG has so many survive tools with the Titan's Rest shield, all the CC in the kit, but Alistar just tanks up the whole turret with Unbreakable Will, one of the best abilities in the entire game. That last turret shot I was sure was going to kill him, resulting in a 1-for-1, but stays alive. And you know, this lead growing ever larger, and they've got champs to scale throughout the game, and especially if Plaque starts or keeps doing as much damage as they are, it's going to get really difficult.
It's getting so much difficult, and I really would like to highlight Black's ultimate. He just went in a split of a second. He saw LeBlanc coming forward, and he just stopped her from dealing tons of damage on him and on Pantheon. She just like stood there, and she's like, yeah, I'm in danger. You know that feeling? She had nothing to do, and it feels like all the lanes are going for CCI. And when you look at the scaling options, they need a lot of time for Gwen to get back on track. They need Jinx to get like some resets, and here in topside, looking forward to the 2v1 here, and yeah, I think she's just dead. Ornhorn lands, Pantheon goes for the Q with the spear to take everything up. I don't think that he still got his ultimate, so the dragon will be contested from White Lotus. That's a pretty good counter or like cross map play here. But I believe that Black would leave it. Stopping it for the 3 situation. Sejuani super tanky on the other side. Ornn is taking a lot of damage. Sivir is moving. Alistair knocks up 2 Jinx. Try to go for the reset, but they're pretty tanky. The first one drops here, and Pantheon comes from the sky, brings the second, the third, and I believe it's over for White Lotus. They can't contest this dragon, and yeah, when it comes to team fights, it's so hard.
It was a good attempt, a good thought. Hey, we just saw 2 of them on the top side. Maybe we can grab a sneaky dragon. Maybe we can cross map in that way, but you got the Grand Starfall. You have to account for teleport utilized by the top laner of CCI. Extremely well played across the entire team. And just, a great call by whoever is leading the comms on that side, knowing, like, hey, we don't have to give even an inch. We are fully winning everywhere. We can contest this 100%, not give up anything, and now they're going to push their advantage even more with another bot lane dive.
They're going for it again. Alistair uses the ultimate to get extra HP, and Jinx Blink, can you miss it? She's just out. Alistair takes tons of damage, and I believe he's gonna be the prey here. He's losing his life. The TP comes in from Gwen. Damage been dealt. Nautilus is out. Alistair is just trying to survive as much as possible, and here you can see Plaque is moving around, going for the bot lane fight. They have vision, so they know that he is moving. Top lane is just an open island to get extra plates, and I believe the first blood turret will be taken from Ornn.
Yeah, I mean, that was the only lane that they had any sort of control in, was top lane. Even after the death from Gwen up there, there was still an advantage in the 1v1 for Gwen, but now Alcoholic's got an entire turret's worth of gold in their pocket on top of the Hollowed Radiance Merc Treads combination. That Gwen is going to have a difficult time tearing through him with only the Dusk and Dawn in inventory. As we look at the rest of the map, Essence Reaver completed for Sivir. Have the Untals on Jinx, but no progress towards any other items. The only win, really, for White Lotus has been the fact that they've gotten both top side objectives so far. They've gotten the Grubs, they've gotten the Rift Herald off of that bot dive, but those are objectives that are only meaningful if you can actually push in these waves and get access to the turrets.
Actually, something is not adding up. Like, look at the items she got, Yuntel plus the boots. On the other hand, you have... Oh yeah, she needs to recall. Like, she got a lot of gold in her hand. I believe that's around a BF sword plus a dagger. Yeah, exactly. You have a lot of gold. He got Zeal to attack speed mods. That's almost like 1600. Like, yeah, that's a lot of gold. Like, for a split of a second, I felt like, didn't he just recall? It felt a lot weird when you see it. But here in bot side, I believe that Alistair will just jump in and get the life out of this LeBlanc. They're just sucking her life off. Sejuani tries to maintain his life, but look at this. Even the tank is not safe around this Malzahar.
This is bullying. Absolute bullying, pushing them under the turret, diving, and now Alistar is going to see if they can dive mid lane. This Malzahar doing so much damage, way more than I would have ever expected at this point in the game. Firmly in the mid game, they're pushing in on the inner tier 2 turret, and I don't really see any sign of slowing down. You look at the scoreboard here. Everyone firmly ahead across the rift, and this jungle mid lane combo has been so deadly ever since the jump. I'm excited to see where Pantheon goes from here too. Has that no magic mantle, might be going for some more frontline options. I mean, the Black Cleaver Sundered Sky is going to deal a ton of damage no matter what, and it's also going to make Sivir's life so much easier with that Black Cleaver armor shred.
And that's still... Even if he's just like bathing around, going bot, he still got the Grand Starfall to just drop into any team fight, since he got the Grand Starfall plus the Orange TP. A lot of good utility that you can use whether whatever you're doing on the map, it will be on your side to just jump in and give your team a numbers advantage in any team fight. Here in the mid lane, it feels like LeBlanc is just on budget. She doesn't have a lot of items. She got the Luden's Echo and just trying to get the small bench. She's able to get the shield, but not the big one. But here at the minimap, I can see a lot of pings over Malzahar. You have 1, 2, 3, and I believe the Grand Starfall won't be invested here since Pantheon is already on the bot side. Getting knocked up, getting knocked down, and this Sejuani will just get out of this place. Alistair still keeps following, and Pantheon on the back foot. They got 1, they got 2, they got 3, and it's looking pretty nasty.
Yeah, it's so hard to take any fight. 420. We deal with going for a blind flash pulverize, just showing off their mastery there. It's a tough spot to be in. You look at the Sivir's items and you realize that she isn't even really online yet, but how much damage being dealt throughout these fights. Is the cull fully finished, just waiting to sell it until they have an actual better option to replace it with. And you pointed out earlier with LeBlanc going for that Verdant Barrier, the Banshee's Veil component. You know, LeBlanc doesn't inherently deal damage. It's the synergy with all of the burst items that make LeBlanc really pack a punch. So if second item she's already going for defensive items, like that's not a good sign.
That's a bad alert to see that you can't do anything in this game. It feels like going all blue. And I'm sorry for saying this, I don't see a way back unless like there's still hope. If Jinx gets a reset, like he need to invest a lot of gold in Jinx, let her take double lane push, like or like double CS, trying to make I don't know. I believe that if you try to let LeBlanc fall off, it will work a little bit on your side. If you let Gwen, or like Gwen is the other guy who just needs to play inside lane, and I don't think that he can match Ornn. Like, look at their items, look at everything that Ornn got, and Sejuani, what's that, brother? I mean, like, you should provoke him from driving, at least.
Yeah.
Like, he whiffed that turret and he just died. Like,
I don't know. I was risky to get into the Herald regardless, because you see all three of them, and then they decide, I'm not going to actually dive it into the turret, but you're still so far forward. Of course you're going to get hit. And I just had to go renew my license. I think they might have been in the crowd with me getting denied at the counter. Yuji trying to scout out some Baron vision here, but ends up having a flash over the wall. Yeah, it's a 9k gold lead at 21.5 minutes. You've got a Sivir Ornn on your side. Jinx has really got to start picking up mid and bot waves if they want any chance. And even then, you've got Pantheon who's starting to build defensive. The Ornn is already 2 tank items deep, can now start building towards armor. Malzahar is going to be so difficult to take down because of the Void Shift passive, just making him immune to whatever goes on to him first. Alistar going to be becoming extremely tanky with the ultimate being available. It's just so difficult to even conceive of a way that White Lotus can come back into this game because of how defensively CCI drafted. Goes to show how confident they were coming into this matchup.
Ooh. So question's been asked. 22 minutes, and I believe it's gonna be over for White Lotus here. Alistair goes for the engage. Ornn is here on this side, hits Jinx. A lot of damage being taken from this Malzahar. The turret won't be enough to save you here. 1, 2, 3, and I believe it's over. The first one goes down. The second's here from Gwen. Tries to make some damage, but it's not enough. Black survives, and the rest are here. 4 are dead. Make it 5. The ace lands, and CCI grabs their first win over the night.
Yeah, it was a little bit chaotic. They didn't have Alistar taking the turret aggro with the Unbreakable Will up. Sivir was the one actually taking aggro, but it doesn't matter. You've got a 4.5k lead in the jungle. You got a 2k lead in the mid lane. Ornn is even super far ahead. They're able to get the ace at the base steps, push it all the way into the mid lane. Yuji gets one more death for good measure, and it is going to be 1-0 for CCI.
Whew. That Bension is just around everything. Benson and Alistair, they had a pretty good synergy across the entire map. You have seen them working on everything, and look at this stats. Goal difference is just magnificent. 12k versus 7k when it comes to the jungle and mid lane. It felt like LeBlanc. She tried to make a name for herself, or at least stand still in the game, but she is the only one who got some gold.
Yeah, I mean, they had to win through this mid lane early. They drafted with the blind mid lane pick, and if you're going to do that, you have to have some amount of confidence that you're going to win the matchup, especially when you're banning out Ari, when you're banning out Victor. Those are champs that certainly can bother LeBlanc, but I mean, counter them the way Malzahar can, not really. And you look at these damage charts, and it's not even, it's not even close. The difference that they had on the map. You understand why Spartan is so valuable on this team, gets the champion, most apt to the name of the player. And it just seems like CCI have a really good understanding of their play style. They have scaling bot lane because they have stability there. They get Plaque on a counter. They let their jungler have priority and put him on a champ he feels like he can win the map on. And then weak side top to just absorb pressure.
Hmm. Yes, and that's just like, yeah, you can do that. And you're playing with weak side top lane, and you're forcing ganks on your weak side. Like you had two ganks on top side early on the game, and you actually managed to survive through everything. You went for two v2s. You won it 3v3, mid jungle included in the top side fights, and you're just, yeah, I'm that guy who's winning everything, and it felt like CCI, they're rolling with the ball and they're doing whatever they need. No one can stop them. So the question for me is, can they keep it going the same way, same pace, same stuff, or you'll see White Lotus trying to get back with the score and play along, make us go to game number 3. So a lot of questions been asked. So just grab your drinks,
After a quick game one, we are blitzing through the draft for game two. It looks like very standard picks from one side, as White Lotus Clover have picked up the Varus Nico, the deadliest bot lane combo, in my opinion, right now, the best AD plus the best support, whereas CCI Roots going for some more stock standard long range selections. And they're so confident in that Caitlyn Thresh, they're actually not going to pick a third champion. They're going to go this one 4v5. They're not going to have that third champ. They just want to, they want to put
Yep.
a little bit of a handicap on the roster since they won so dominantly in game one.
Yeah, and like Thresh, Alistair at the previous game, he didn't even need to play with Flash. He's just like, yeah, flashing here and there, trying to make some really good moves. And I saw him he flash and bring the emote up. So yeah, they're trying to make it fair. On the other hand, okay, jokes aside, I love White Lotus draft till now. You're playing Protect composition using. Ivern, and I believe that Nico is gonna be that sneaky guy who's just trying to go for that Bob Blossom, trying to catch two, three, four guys at the same time and play around it. You have a lot of CC from Nico, from Ivern, and Varus. You can use them as a CC chain on your side, and I don't fully understand why you're banning theirs.
I think they're gonna pick some control mage, and they don't want to have to deal with the super long range of Xerath. It's probably gonna be like a Vagar or a Vel'Koz. What is we're getting? Okay,
And
Olaf. On blue side, that none pick is an Olaf. Could be top, could be jungle. This is a range where that flex is possible. I also share your like of this red side draft. I think Ivern is one of those junglers where if you can play it, it it's so dominant. Having a fast clearing jungler who makes your AD carry essentially unkillable, so disruptive in team fights once Daisy comes out. And Varus is certainly an AD carry worth buffing, even though the on-hit build isn't the most popular and probably won't be the route this game. It's still a
mhm.
great amount of damage, even if they don't go lethality as Gangplank. A lot of really niche champions that are hard to play getting picked up by White Lotus here.
I'm surprised. Like after what I saw from White Lotus at the previous game, I never thought that we were saying Ivan, GP, Nico, and Varus at the same team. They look pretty good, and yeah, let me tell you something. GP just needs to stack, play the long way on side lane. Sorry for that. And Ivan is just a jungler, like a support on steroids. You have a lot of resources to get items, so you can just get redemption, get a lot of. I don't think that he gets the one that gives you extra damage, but he goes for the healing stuff. So a lot of util can be invested when it comes to playing with Ivan jungle.
Yeah, the Victor picked up by CCI. It was banned in the second phase last game, and the Malphite last pick could be jungle, could be top. But I understand the hesitation because Silas was not banned, still available.
Ooh.
Gets slammed. Silas into Malphite has an unbelievable win rate in pro play. It's something like 80% for Silas if facing a Malphite. But I mean, last game, that mid lane, it did not
Mm.
look sharp. Victor is an easy champion to shut down something like a Silas, can get that shield, run away, put down the gravity field. And Malphite, I think they should send the Malphite top lane into Gangplank, can really set back the scaling and kind of push in the Gangplank, prevent a lot of the damage from going through. And Olaf, we saw what Spartan did last game on the Pantheon. Obviously, no global option this time, but still can run around the map, join a bunch of fights. Bot lane's going to be very, very deadly if Thresh lands a hook on either of these champions. But overall, I actually do like White Lotus's draft a little bit better.
Yeah, actually, White Lotus draft looking a lot better. Not like that's lost. Huh. I have a lot of questions to ask and no answers.
Yeah, I mean, after the first game, we talked about how communication was going to be key, as my voice is about as broken as Plaque is about to be.
Oh, speaking about Black, he just got the chains and he survived. No ignite, no last shot. The flash goes wild. And I love the rotation that they're making. Like, yeah, they're sending JP mid and sending Silas in top side, since Silas is gonna have a free lane in top. And Malphite will just survive. I'm sorry.
That's all right, both of us. I mean, but we're both getting just like stunned by the effects of this early game. I also like the decision to swap these champions. I will say there was like a tiny bit in the back of my head when they drafted the Gangplank 4 that I was like, well, last time they drafted some weird picks on 4, maybe this is actually mid lane. And maybe that's why they banned the Xerath. They don't want super long range, but I still am not sure how this will play out. We'll have to see over the course of the game. Like you said, it's going to be a much easier job for Gangplank not having to deal with the Malphite just eating all of their damage. But now Malphite in a really tough situation up against the Silas, has the Arcane Comet, so does not have the Grasp of the Undying to try and get tanky throughout the course of the game, try and get some health back on some of these trades. Though he is able to get a pretty decent push in thanks to all that early action that drew Silas down to the mid game. And last thing I want to mention, really smart by Zokiaz, has Cleanse as their second summoner spell, understanding just how much lockdown, how many roots are on the side of White Lotus.
Yeah, like I've been trying to notice how the jungler pathing is going, and Ivern is just making ton of mistakes playing Ivern in jungle. When it comes to pathing, when it comes to moving, and yeah, using your passive been also wrong. I mean, quite frankly, he finished everything before time, or ahead of time. It's just like, yeah, it's fine. But overall, if you're playing versus a jungler that knows how to play versus Ivern, I believe that you'll just like get invaded and you'll lose a lot of momentum through the course of your actions.
Yeah, you're right. They have just kind of elected to full clear, nothing fancy, just grabbing their own camps, getting them all cycled. Obviously, Ivern, friend of the forest, doesn't want to harm any of these camps, which makes the Rift Scuttle pretty easy to take, all things considered. And as well as now Danny's in big trouble.
Black also doesn't have a lot of sums, so huge respect here, not trying to overforce anything. I believe that both junglers will try to go for the recall. Probably, I think that Olaf will try to cancel his and try and do something in mid lane, but here he just is going for the second clear from bot to top, and they can match each other's tempo. I love the buy here from Ivern, since he didn't get punished through the early game. Right now he's just, yeah, he's a fine jungler.
Yeah, another enormous benefit of Ivern jungle is just how quickly the champ can hit its item spikes. They're all support items, so they're all
Yes.
very low gold cost. Can have a completed item after like 2.5 jungle clears, has a full redemption or something in pocket. That earlier mid lane gank by Spartan, I think the idea was more so to try and force a flash out of Danny because Plaque has no sums. Maybe just walk in, get the Gangplank to flash, get out. But because Ivern is sitting there, able to support his mid laner, Danny holds on to the flash, will have it in any ensuing fights. 10 seconds until the Mountain Dragon spawns, and all of the tempo in favor of White Lotus. In the mid lane, bot lane could get pushed in very quickly with this Nico Varus duo. Only problem is Ivern can clear the regular jungle camps extremely easily with the passive and smite, but when it comes to these neutral objectives like Dragon, like Void Grubs, extremely difficult time to get rid of these camps.
And you need a lot of help when it comes to big monsters, plus the help of Daisy. So he's currently at level 5, I believe, and he's still got a lot of things to take. And here it is. Look at the invades. That's the thing I was just trying to talk about. Look, Olaf is just trying to go for it. Doesn't have a flash, or he just tries to flash on the opposite side. A lot of questions, and yeah, thank you for the free kill. Goes to GP, and GB is super happy at this moment.
And I don't even know if they were able to get any of those raptors. I would think not, because they have one more stack on their jungle quest item, and Ivern's sitting down at 20, so that's a free 400 gold put into Gangplank's pocket, results in a 500 plus 600 plus now gold lead for the mid laner of White Lotus. As see, his top lane keeps fighting over and over again, but Malphite, one of the big benefits, even in the matchup against Silas that is so difficult, he just buys a no magic mantle, ruby crystal, and now what is Silas really going to do? He's got 2 ruby crystals himself. This is if you're gonna tank, I'm gonna tank. Let's see what happens here. As now we got a 2v1 in the mid lane.
Yep, Black doesn't have flash or any sums. I believe Flash just got back on. And GP is pretty low. I believe that Black can just try to snipe him. It's doable. Ivan, knowing that he's moving towards top side, I believe that no harm will take in place, since you can see Silas just pushed in and he's trying to go for invades, trying to get to level 6 early on the other side. Pantheon. I'm sorry, Olaf. Olaf and Pantheon, they have the same character, it feels like. He's just going for the dragon here. He got the bot Brio, he got the mid Brio, and I believe this should be an easy Drake to take, unless White Lotus bot lane got other plans to do.
Oh, and now I just noticed, should be noted, Diablo Fox is back in. UG played game 1, now Diablo Fox in at support. Gonna have a smite fight on the dragon. Everyone's down here, 4v4.
Nico drops the Bob Blossom on one player, and Olaf will just get the Drake and trying to go back. 3v1 situation. Thresh will donate his life. Double kill for GB, and it's looking pretty good for White Lotus. The stun lands, and I believe this Caitlyn will go to the Death Realm.
We talked about the difficulties playing into this team comp. Ivern can tank and can sustain his entire team with those Trigger Seed shields. Daisy comes in, adds essentially an additional member you've got to focus on. Makes it so difficult. 3 kills now for Gangplank, a champ that really only needs practice and gold to get ahead. Now Cataclysm finally steals that unstoppable force, recognizing Malphite's low on mana, but Cataclysm's low on damage. Going for a Rod of Ages, trying to be a true top laner, go for some tank, go for some weak side options. Only real positive we can glean so far is that Spartan, who you mentioned, seems to only play champions that feel like they could be Spartans or old school warriors, now playing Olaf. He did pick up that mountain dragon so they can start the stacking, but I mean, look at this roaming. Both supports now breathing down your neck. Mid lane gets pushed in an instant because Essence Reaver is fully completed for Gangplank. Silas can hold Malphite top lane as long as they want, so that means grubs go for free over to White Lotus.
And on the other side, I don't see Thresh moving forward. He's just trying to deny the AD carry from anything in the bot side, not going to commit to the play. And I believe Olaf should be on bot side, since you're not contesting the Void Grubs. You need to go for the dive over Varus, but at this case, Varus just standing still, a lot of HP, full mana, got both sums, so he's having a perfect day in bot lane, and he doesn't have a lot of stuff. Oh, I really look like the Peril thing, unstoppable force just for the trays, trying to deny him over the cannon, and he does. Cannon's still alive. He goes for the chains 1-up, and I believe that Malphite is just the tanky player, and he's going forward. Can he kill him? I believe he can if he tried to commit the fresh hook. Lands on both sides, trying to go for the Varus, but the play or the flay doesn't connect.
Yeah, a lot of fighting going on all
Look to play.
across the rift.
Silas is about to die.
How did he turn that? He was getting pushed all the way down. Flash is used by Malphite, and I mean, this is the dangers of going for this Silas build, and now the Gangplank ulti.
Perfect.
Death
Oh,
above, and now he's going for another kill.
I went too early for the W. Danny versus Black. I believe like he got the movement speed, but Thresh
What a
goes
hook.
to through a hook and denies it. 1-4-1. But like the shutdown goes to Thresh. That's not what you're looking for. Spartan is going to mid lane. He got the ultimate. I believe the Ragnarok will be a really good thing to try and dive Danny. But that's a pretty bad approach. Cancel the barrel. He got the Qs. He wants to land it, but it's so hard. The smite lands and a pretty good shot down. Ivan in the town 1v1 situation. Use the shield for to get an extra slow some damage here. Ragnarok, Mr. Olaf throws 1, 2, 3, and they grab another kill. CCI are back on track.
They've got to get out of there. No, Nico is barreling down the jungle. This is the problem when you've got an experienced Olaf. They understand how to utilize that low HP bar to their advantage, getting the extra attack speed, the extra life steal on hit. Has the first item experimental hex plate, really indexing into keeping Ragnarok up and available as often as possible. Thresh completes the Bandle Pipes. I'm interested to see Caitlyn's item. I think Storm... Oh, never mind, she's dead.
Oh, but Blossom drops 2 and Caitlyn survives. Oh, actually a pretty good play from Thresh. Make her survive, even though like she used both sums and she's pretty low on HP. I love it.
Yeah, 25 seconds until the dragon. That was a really great play by Nico. And if you notice, Nico did use Pop Blossom, and they also used those corrupting chains, but neither of them used any of their summoner spells. They forced Caitlyn to back. Now they can push this lane in. They have complete prio on the dragon. That's one of the like really high level plays where you're not even really trying to get the kill. You're just trying to get summoner spells and push the enemy laner out of lane so that you can get the free dragon. They execute it to perfection, and like I was saying earlier, you're 12 minutes into the game, you got a complete redemption picked up for Ivern, and you can start affecting the map anywhere.
Yeah, the cross map play here, trying to go for Silas, pretty low in HP. The Arcane Storm lands, he goes for it. The dive will be hard to take, and the smite from Mr. Olaf secures the kill. It's totally worth it for White Lotus. They got the Drake, they got the damage, and oh boy, the damage from Caitlyn. The hook lands, and this Nico is out. I love the traps, and quite frankly, it's looking hard for CCI, but they're not dropping the game off. Like, they had a pretty bad early game, but they're still fighting for their life and for their place. Ivan, Daisy, cooldown is out. Thresh gets hooked. Flayback, Chain of Corruption is here. Q lands on nobody, and the damage is a lot. Uses the redemption, damage from Caitlyn, survives the shield, will make her pretty low in HP. The TB comes
behind
from Silas, or make it GP, and he's here to hunt. Uses the barrel, gets 2, hooks, Thresh makes it alive, and trades 1 for 1. Totally worth it for CCI.
420 Weed Dealer wheeling and dealing with the hooks. A death sentence. We got to get him off on early release. I mean, this guy's going ballistic in this bottom lane, continuously finding plays, getting more and more gold into Zokia's pocket. Decent amount of damage taken, but Monarch gonna have to get that ace in the hole dodged by Diablo Fox. Really just so much chaos around the map, but I think something that's really fascinating as red turret in the mid lane is going to be taken. That's going to make it even easier for Victor to move around the map. One of the big things is we had that early 4-for-nothing fight in favor of White Lotus, but now as we look across the map, there's been so many trading fights back and forth that, you know, CCI kind of have found a footing in this game again, and, you know, Gangplank will scale well. Ivern will continue to provide a lot of use throughout the game, but Malphite scales, Victor scales, Caitlyn scales. These are all champs that are going to be able to match that later in the game. It's going to come down to who can make more plays at crucial moments. Dragons are tied 1-1. I would like to see them focus on this Rift Herald. They are going to look for a bot lane gank on Gangplank more importantly, but I think if they start contesting some of these objective-taking objectives, then they really could blow this game open and really try and find a full advantage.
Oh, Silas goes for the unstoppable force. The counter won't be enough. Caitlyn jumps back. She got the traps and she's just trying to survive. Ragnarok here, 3v1 situation, exhaust, imperfect. The engage is hard. Nico trying to survive for extra time. Malphite doesn't have a lot of stuff to follow up with. Shields make them survive. The Q won't land in Caitlyn, and White Lotus are just making it look easy. And they're quite frankly delivering a really good front-to-back team fighting.
Yeah, it was disjointed. I mean, Thresh goes in and does their job. They hold off all 4 members of White Lotus, Clover, preventing them from diving back onto Caitlyn. And then you have Alcoholic coming in to save Caitlyn, but has to use the unstoppable force to do so. Ivern does get hooked, but Malphite is quite far. Oh, Ace in the hole, though, is in range and will get the kill. Some more gold into Caitlyn's pocket. They went for the Storm Razor. That's what I was curious about. I fully feel the Yuntal's build has been phased out. You don't really need that burst of attack speed that the active gives you. The Storm Razor, that extra burst of damage with the energized auto attack, synergizes greatly with Rapid Fire Cannon later. I think it's a much better first item for Caitlyn in this new season. But the last point I want to make on that fight is they got to get better synergy in this game with Spartan. Last time with Pantheon being able to fly in from anywhere, there was so much communication during every single fight. When am I flying in? Where am I going? Who are we targeting? But this time it feels like they're a bit disjointed. They're using these crucial spell cooldowns, and they really need to be saving them if they're going to win these extended fights.
A lot of questions for this game. Like, you saw White Lotus had a pretty dominant early game, but at this point, at minute 18, they're almost equal. You can see a huge advantage when it comes to mid lane, but otherwise, it goes for the other place. And Thresh here trying to catch him, but Blossom goes through one. On the other hand, the damage that came from the Arcane Storm is just magnificent. Flash Hook goes wide. You need Malphite, but he's nowhere close. Got the unstoppable force, but he's super far away. Hooks again. It's blinded, but he lands. Thresh is just a beast when it comes to hooking, when it comes to playing. Yeah, he's just for sure a pretty bad flash, but he's just like, yeah, he can still land some hooks. The dragon will go to CCI, which is pretty good solo if you're playing with Malphite. With Olaf particularly, I believe like Olaf will be just super happy. Extra movement speed, extra damage dealing to the enemies.
Yeah, and that extra ultimate haste, have it up even more often. That was an extremely damning skirmish. I know that no one died, but the fact that every member of White Lotus landed damage and CC onto Thresh, and they barely got a scratch, and then the rest of CCI just turn up and almost destroy them. I mean, Nocturnal's dead.
Speaking of destroying, yeah, that's what happens when you just try to visit check Olaf and you have no vision, no nothing, no one to help you.
I mean, like, they had the perfect pick onto Thresh, and they couldn't do anything. And then CCI, in response, Victor ult didn't even come out. Like you said, Malphite wasn't even there. They just throw some of their long-range abilities down and completely dissuade them from not only the fight, but from the dragon contest entirely. And now Danny is about to get 3v1 dived. I don't even think he knows it yet.
Danger. They're trying to use some barrels here to survive. Hook whiffs, but the damage is enough. Flashes out. Danny survives for a pretty long time. Olaf, can he survive? And the last tick will make him stay alive, but check the minimap on the mid lane. Varus using Chains of Corruption in mid lane, trying to make a really good damage into Plague, but he manages to whiff everything, but the damage on Blake is pretty high. Oh, can he do it? Laser in. He goes for the trade, flashes in Q, barrier been used, and a lot of damage been dealt. But Blossom in mid lane, surviving, getting the shield, and he's just gonna make himself out, uses the Thresh. Q, oh, the Lantern almost whiffed.
There's so much coming through the redemption.
A lot of damage here, yes sir. Well, like, I don't think that this Ace in the Hole will make a lot of difference here, and Thresh will just fall down, uses the Lantern, maybe goes for the 2v3, trying to bait for it. The hook lands, and look at Olaf, Ragnarok goes in, and 1, 2, 3, they're all out. Silas, I believe, is gonna just fall down here, auto attack to the clone. Ragnarok is out, but the E will make a lot of true damage, and I love CCI comeback. It's just... it's good.
I mean, it feels like they have absolute understanding of how they win this game. In the beginning, there were some communication difficulties. They weren't sure exactly how to play out the fights, but then they realized we've got an absolute Greek super soldier in the jungle. Let's just give him the keys to the castle, let him run things, and we also have one of the most sturdy 80 carries in all of the Ember Scorch League. Give him Caitlyn, let him sit back. Storm Razor, Infinity Edge completed. Working towards the third crit item. Ivern will secure the Rift Herald, so now they do have an opportunity to take down another turret. Try and get themselves back to even. It's 3-2 on those turrets right now. Victor's build is a bit interesting, going for more of a... oh, never mind, he's dead. He's got funny. Doesn't really matter how much damage the Victor has when they can just delete any target. He's going for more of a sustained damage build, trying to continue to run through these team fights and go for move speed advantages, but I really don't think that it matters what items he's going here. He's dealing so much damage as we get through this mid game.
Yeah, and I really like the Ninja Tabis that he got, the upgraded ones. I know that it's not called Ninja Tabis anymore, but like, it's just Ninja Tabis for me. I don't know, like, I don't catch the new name, but like, he got it, the upgraded one, which helps him to survive versus not one, two of really crazy damage dealers. He got Varus and he got GP that deals a lot of damage. Silas trying to go in. Ragnarok, I don't think he's gonna try to invest in ultimate here, and a lot of players going for this play. Look at this knock up. Caitlyn trying to make some damage here, trying to get this GB, but he survives. The damage goes on, the hooks are here, but it's a 4v2 situation, and I believe it's gonna be 2 for a White Lotus. It's just like, it's more of a swing, like you don't know, either White Lotus are taking the team fights, are doing the most of the work, or CCI are just dropping here and there.
Yeah, it's a bit of a miscommunication again. They don't know if they want to push in that bottom turret. His Nocturnal goes for a flash, trying to make a play, but I think he's going to find himself dead.
Caitlyn is just trying to make wonders in a 1v4 situation. Got one, and the other two are pretty low HP. TB comes out from Malphite. The unstoppable force might go in, but it's on a blind side. So he's just gonna try to stop Clone here, and yeah, it's Silas in a 1v2 situation. Can just try to use the Ragnarok to get closer, or trying to get out immediately. I'm sorry, not the Ragnarok, the unstoppable force, and he gets himself out. Two pretty low HP. If he just tried to go in the blind, if he just went for his instant, he might have got like some kills. But here in the top side, Danny is just making a lot of trades. Got 4 turret plates on his side, and the Drake, the second Cloud one, goes for Olaf. And trust me, 2 Cloud Drakes and Olaf it's just bad. Like, just saying that, it's bad.
And now he's got the Death's Dance as well. And when you have a support in the jungle and your Nico goes Frozen Heart second, the amount of magic damage, I mean, look at the top laner's items. You're not really worried about magic damage. That Death's Dance is going to be enormous in this game. You're actually seeing in the top levels, the tier 1 leagues, a lot of these bruiser champions have been going Death's Dance first item, realizing how much sustain and damage it gives you early in the game. It's becoming more and more popular as Eclipse kind of declines in popularity, as we see other big itemizations for Caitlyn has the Noon Quiver plus that pickaxe. Could be an Immortal Shield Bow coming through. Makes sense. They do have a lot of dive. They have a lot of burst. You want to be able to protect yourselves from all of that. And another really impressive thing I want to mention is from this Caitlyn, you know, that last 3v1 against the Nico, Ivern, and Varus, because they were able to get even one kill onto the enemy jungler, that meant that Olaf could just come back after having died earlier, or having run away earlier and leaving the fight, was able to come back, reestablish control, and not give over that dragon so they could continue stacking. With Baron up and available, there is plenty of Baron damage from Gangplank as that hook hits the real one.
That's a pretty crazy hook coming from Thresh. He delivers and he makes it, goes for the hook number 2, whiffs this one. But Nico, like Diablo folks, got like a pretty bad hook here, and I believe that's a really good green light for the Baron Nashor. You have 5v4 situation, you have a lot of damage, you can burst down the Nashor pretty fast, and you just need to establish the control vision over this place.
They have a bit of a collapse angle here. Gangplank was pushing in the top side, so they've corralled CCI into their own blue jungle, but I think they realize right now they have no real in angle. Cataclysm does not have access to the Malphite ultimate through the hijack, so even if they could push forward, they would have just gotten poked down by Victor Caitlyn. Such a good composition that CCI have drafted in this situation. I mean, just, and on top of all of that, incredible performances across the board, especially coming out of this Thresh. This is the most inside niche reference. What that Thresh is selling is legal where I'm from. They're trying to make it illegal again, but that 420 weed dealer, what he's selling, I'm buying. This guy is really showing off in this fight. And Caitlyn, this is actually a good time to talk about this. This Hex Optics C44 item was pretty much like heralded as the Caitlyn item. You deal more damage based on how far away the enemy is, and when you get a takedown, you get even more range. But the problem seemed to be it's hard to fit into her build because there's so many crucial items that you need. You need the Stormrazor or Yuntals, you need Infinity Edge, you need the Rapid Fire Cannon most times, and if there's any amount of tank on the enemy team, you need to get a Lord Dominic's Regard. So you don't want 5 crit items, that's just redundant. But in a game like this, you look at the lineup, who's building armor? The Nico, they're already squishy. Like, no amount of armor is going to make this champion real. They have no real income. So if your top lane Sylas isn't going for any tank, you can go for this Hex Optics item.
Funny enough, like I've seen a lot of players in high elo masters, also like Grandmaster, goes for this item as the first one for Caitlyn, since it deals, as you have mentioned, magnificent advantage for Caitlyn when it comes to having extra range, dealing in lane, or just trying to play. Stormrazor, still a fine option, but like you can't have both at the same time. But here Thresh goes for the play, 3v1 situation. The hook might try to land Ragnarok in the backside. 1, 2, 3, and they are down. Thresh doesn't stop when it comes to hooking players, trying to survive here. The flash is in, another hook, plays 2, and CCI claim this team fight. And I believe they can try to end the game. They have a lot of death timers, but GB will just have the wave clearance, so the Baron will be the call.
They go back to the Baron, all of those indecisions from the early game, they've fully gotten them out of their system. They take aim on the Baron, so easy to melt down with the Olaf, Victor, Caitlyn. And at this point,
they have Soul also.
And yeah, Soul is spawning immediately.
Tempo, guys, please, just recall. Spend your gold and trying to go for this play. Don't just go for this crucial one while having tons of gold. Here.
Nico has ultimate and exhaust. All ultimates are available that will be joining into the fight, and now they're overextending themselves.
Yeah, that's so bad here. The hook lands on the other side. GB goes down, Nico's out, and the Arcane Storm is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Black just blasting them down, and Caitlyn collecting kills, triple kill for her, and they're just going forward on the bot side, trying to go here. Ragnarok been used, unstoppable force, and no one is saved. This Varus is out. Silas trying to survive here, trying to get this Caitlyn, flashes out, and another ace without even spending a dime in items.
Yeah, I know, like, you might be watching and thinking that we sounded concerned for CCI, but yeah, absolutely not. We didn't want them to back and spend gold. Oh, the whole time we wanted them to go for the soul. Just I'd make that absolutely clear. Both the way. Maybe it's a language barrier thing, you know, not our first language, but we got this together, and CCI looking... I mean, we talked about them winning their other series in 3 games. This was a clean 2-0 stomp. CCI 2-0 over White Lotus. What an incredible performance by our top team.
CCI just got the win, and quite frankly, it looked convincing. They had a pretty bad early game. They lost 4 kills, and they gave a lot of gold to White Lotus, but Caitlyn makes wonders playing 1v3s. Thresh is just Bunny Fufu in his prime. He doesn't whiff hooks, and he just goes for some crazy plays. A lot of outstanding performance from the players. I don't wanna just like not mention all of them, but like all 5 of the players made some pretty good decisions. Like the solo was not one of them. I'm sorry for that, but like it give you the win. Like don't get me wrong, but from where I came from, this is just hard to believe that's doable.
I mean, I want to give a huge shout out to Pack in these 2 games. I mean, withstanding the freaky picks from the enemy mid laner, playing so well on the Victor, on the Malzahar in the previous game. They have a very distinct style that we talked about in game 1, but they made it work. I would still have to say my player of the series, or as I should more appropriately say, my Bektis de Siras would have to be Spartan, our Greek in the jungle, able to really bring this game back from what was a shaky early game. A 0 for 4 fight around Dragon could have spelled
True.
disaster when you look at the scaling over on White Lotus's side, but Olaf able to turn it around, get so many big plays, restabilize the map, and with this victory and with our other undefeated team, XSV Hydra, on a bye this week, that will give Crowd Control in-house complete control over the first seed in the standings.
So CCI got the first seed in the standings, and we've just witnessed a really good and magnificent best of 3. Ended up with CCI winning. I believe that's gonna be it for us today. I had a lot of fun casting with you, as always. As always, wallah, it's a pleasure casting with you, Jake, and thanks to everyone that came in, that jumped, that watched, and I hope that we were like we were up to your expectations. I hope that